Hey friends, today's video is just for fun. So if you take yourself too seriously, if you take perfume too seriously, bye. See you in the next video when we get a little more, but am I ever really serious? When I get a little bit more serious, I'll see you in that video. Like if your feelings get hurt, if you like a fragrance and someone else doesn't, this is not the video for you. What I'm going to be doing, and this is purely just for entertainment and for fun amongst fragrance friends here, me and you, I'm going to be retrying fragrances that I gave up on, didn't like, on first impression. They just either repulsed me or didn't hit the mark or whatever. Or maybe I thought were okay and was like shocked that other people love them or whatever. A category of fragrances that I just did not put on my wish list and I did not purchase. I want to retry them and see how do I feel about them today now. And so the way that I'm doing them is I have already sprayed sections of these poor arms of mine. I am dedicating my body to perfume science and retrying these on skin because I really feel trying on blotter is a limited experience, as I have always said. Friends, if you are serious about testing fragrances, you must test on skin and see how something reacts with you. Now, it's arguable if you try it on blotter and you absolutely hate it, why bother trying on skin? I can't answer that question for you. You have to make that decision for yourself. I really haven't had the experience that if I absolutely detest it on blotter, all of a sudden it's amazing on skin. I have had the experience though where it was just okay or not impressive on the blotter and I put it on and then it blossomed and bloomed and blew my mind. So that has happened. Enough about that. Let's get into this testing. So what I have done is sprayed on skin so that I can get the initial impression again and also properly let it dry down and be fair to it. Are y'all ready? Take a guess as to what's going to end up in this video. Put that in the comments just for fun. Say guess and then put like a dash or a colon and let me know what you think is going to end up here. Okay, I'm going to start off with a fragrance that ended up being like the sweetheart of the Micallef house, maybe over the past year or so, and it is Oh Feminin. I love the name of the fragrance. I love the bottle shape. These bottles are pretty. Okay, they're very nice looking bottles. And I ended up getting myself a 2 milliliter decant from where? Scent Split. Scent Split, y'all are getting my money. I'm going to stop talking about Scent Split though, but I'm going to still link them in the description. So the way that I'll do these is I'll give these a score of 1 to 10 now. And I will try to imagine or remember what I would have scored it when I first tried it. So Oh Feminin, I would have scored it, and I probably did score it somewhere in like the maybe 5 or 6-ish range. And I have let this calm down on my skin. You guys, this is reminding me so very much of something that I wore in the late 80s in middle school. I don't know what that is. I can't bring to my mind what that fragrance is, but I smell it and like my whole mind goes through this time warp, and I'm back in middle school hanging out with my friends. I see the faces of my friends and I see myself in the hallways of the middle school and everything. I don't know what that is, but okay. Here's the thing about this fragrance. It was described when it first came out as being an orange blossom heaven. Everybody talked about what an amazing orange blossom fragrance it is. So I was expecting orange blossom. I love orange blossom. I can like a cloying, white floral fragrance, which orange blossom can tend to be. I can dig it, but this did not smell like orange blossom to me because it so closely reminded me of Sintra from Memo, which has that like petitgrain note at the top and I think some other like neroli or something else, some sharp citrusy feeling tone to it. Now that I know that that is what I got the first time, I was more prepared this time. And I do think this is a nice fragrance. I still don't think this is an orange blossom dominant fragrance for me. I feel like the citrus, the petitgrain or whatever that is. Let me look at the notes. So I got it here in front of me. It's petitgrain and citrus, mandarin orange, lemon, bergamot. It's got neroli in the middle. Hello. And then in the base is the orange blossom and sandalwood and vanilla and so forth. I do think it's lovely. I can see how people really enjoy wearing this. So I do want to just give it a little bit more props than I did the first time. And I want to raise its score probably to somewhere at like the 7 to 8 range. I still don't think I need or want a bottle of this because I have other fragrances that do something similar for me. And so this wouldn't be one that I would rush out to get. But man, that nostalgic thing that this has, I can't put my finger on it. Does anybody out there, anyone out there have any ideas what this reminds them of from the 80s and 90s? I can't put my finger on it. Anyway, I can get how people like this. So let me go ahead and give this a thumbs up, even though it's not one that I would necessarily want to purchase. And I still do contend this is not an orange blossom fragrance. This is a citrus, almost kind of slightly dusty, powdery fragrance that sits on this bed of vanilla with some orange blossom in it. All right. So this next one, I'm still kind of mad at y'all. I am mad that y'all recommended this fragrance to me. I'm kidding. I'm not mad. I'm just joking for those of you that take things too literally. This is from DS and Durga, a house that I have had challenges with. Like a number of fragrances that I've tried from DS and Durga, I've just been like, what are y'all thinking? What are the perfumers thinking for this house? And a few that I have liked. This one is called I Don't Know What. And I heard some of my trusted reviewers ranting and raving about what an amazing day-to-day clean aesthetic, clean rural, your skin but better fragrance this is. I still dislike this. I had a repulsed reaction when I first tried this because I was expecting a really lovely skin scent. And I got something that was like very chemically smelling to me. And I don't even know what. I just remember going, what? In fact, this almost smelled like plastics plus green plus chemicals. And I was like, are we all smelling the same thing? So I was a little bit shocked. I probably would have scored it below 5 at that point, probably like a 3, if that, and that's being generous. And so today, the way that I would score it is actually not much different. I might give it another point or two in like the 4 or 5-ish range. So if you like this, I want to know, what does this smell like to you? Because honestly, all I get from this is not even pencil shavings, the tip of the pencil, like pencil lead. Have you ever like had a pencil near your face as you're talking with someone, you're holding it in your hand, and you can smell like the pencil lead, the woodiness of the tip and the lead? Okay. I mean, is it actually lead? I don't even know what's in the middle of a pencil, but the dark thing that makes it right, that stuff. That's what I smell. And I'm like, but why? This is not interesting to me. Now, again, I'm just testing here. So does it smell better if you douse yourself in it and it projects off of you? Is that the deal? Let me know, because I know that does happen with fragrances. So I'm not trying to be snarky. Or am I? I'm not really sure. But so the notes are bergamot. I get no bergamot, nothing citrusy in this fragrance at all. ISOE super, I can see that. Vetiver, which can be a tricky note. In the base, it literally says sandalwood, amber, and synthetic civet. I'm surprised that so many people that like this are some of the same folks that just would run from a civet note. Like they wouldn't even try anything that had civet in it. I don't get any civet or nothing animalic off of this fragrance at all. I get the tip of the pencil. That's it. So this is still a no for me. It's called I Don't Know What. And I'm going to just put on the end of that, I don't know what people see in this fragrance. This is a no. We're going to go next to From Fragrance to Bois, Oud Orange Intense, or Oud Orange Intense. This is well over the $400 mark. I think it's $450 or in that range for a full bottle of this fragrance. I tried this a number of years ago and was just kind of confused about what I was smelling. I was under the impression that it was going to be a coconut dominant fragrance, or at least you were going to get some coconut in it. At the time that I tried it, I had this obsession with coconut. I still like coconut a lot. But I didn't get any coconut in the fragrance. I don't remember getting any orange. I just remember it smelling like intensely woody and unappealing to me, maybe even a little bit masculine. However, I've heard a number of people talking about it more recently and thought to myself, did I miss out on a beautiful fragrance? Because these people seem to really, really love it. It's sophisticated to them. They, would wear it out to special occasions, all that. So I tried it again. And let me say that the notes that are called out are coconut, fruits, bourbon vanilla, oud, and musk. Sounds delicious, doesn't it? I still very strongly do not like this fragrance. I wouldn't say I hate it. I just can't imagine wearing it myself. I'm trying to sort of hover and not like stick my nose right in this, because I'm trying to imagine, is this one that's better in the air? Let me know your thoughts. Do you have this? Do you like this? What is your impression of it? For me, it's giving me a deep, almost synthetic woodiness. There's a woodiness probably from the oud, and I'll tell you what I smell. Do you remember the fragrance called Turquoise from Ralph Lauren? There was something so sort of concentrated, like perfume chemical concentration in that fragrance. And I used to wear that fragrance a lot. I thought I was really cute when I wore Turquoise from Ralph. You couldn't tell me nothing from Ralph Lauren. It's been long discontinued, but it smells like turquoise on top of an oudy or woody type of base. And I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for me. And if I sniff from far away, I get almost like this dried up maple syrup from this fragrance. And so I just can't get with it. I would still score it 5 or lower. I can tell that there are nice quality ingredients used or materials used, but I can't vibe with it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts with it, and I'm still going to pass on Oud Orange Intense. So then I also reviewed a newer one from Memo that's called, I called it the wrong thing. In fact, I didn't even know how to say the name. It's Cappadocia, which represents a region of Turkey. And it's a place where there are a lot of sort of hot air balloon excursions over this beautiful, almost dreamy landscape of like rocks that look like chimneys and stuff. And you see that on the artwork for the bottle too. So I had a feeling that that is where it was referring to. I just didn't know that that was the name of the region until I looked it up for that video. So anyway, I didn't know how to say it. It's Cappadocia. I was saying like Cappadocia or something. So the fragrance for me is still very much a leathery fragrance, which it was in that video. And I liked it in that video, not enough to purchase a bottle. And the reason that I've been thinking about this again is because it showed up on Joma Shop for, I think it was over half off. I feel like I was in the $140 or $150 range, somewhere in there. And when these expensive fragrances get down to that price point, I definitely want to make sure I either want it or don't. And so I do think this is a nice leathery fragrance. That's what I get from it. I think it also has saffron. I haven't looked up the notes, but it's a very smooth fragrance. It leans masculine for me, and it's not a fragrance that I would necessarily find myself personally reaching for. And for that reason, it's not one that I would want to bring into my collection, but it is one that I would purchase for a male member of the family if they were interested in that. My husband has some really gorgeous vanillas, so like he's not in the market. Gorgeous leathers, not vanillas. Where did that come from? He's not in the market for another leather, so I will not be purchasing any more for him. If he didn't have a leather, this would be a really great contender. It's soft, it's easygoing. I can see it projecting nicely in meeting rooms without being overpowering, and gives off an illusion of put togetherness, sophistication. Cappadocia, so it gets a thumbs up, but it won't be coming in my house. Let's go next to a fragrance that has had its time here on YouTube, and people still love this fragrance so much. It's from Jo Malone, and it's called Wood Sage and Sea Salt, sort of one of the OGs that fragrance reviewers have loved for a very long time and considered like a skin scent and a great fragrance for wearing to the gym or on days when you're running errands or you just want to smell clean and fresh. And so it's called Wood Sage and Sea Salt. So you're expecting to get those kinds of things, right? Woody notes, maybe something aromatic, something salty, sea air-ish. And I do think that this is a nice, light, easygoing fragrance. It definitely has a woody background. I actually find this fragrance to be slightly masculine, and I would prefer something like, if you're going to do a sort of citrusy, woody fragrance or an aromatic, woody fragrance, I might go something in the direction of like a Chanel Eau Fraiche. Excuse me, it's called Chanel Chance Eau Fraiche, where it's citrus and woods, like that kind of fragrance, before I would reach for this. I did happen to get one of these little, I call them the little nail polish bottles. They're 5 milliliter bottles, and they tend to be more expensive than just your 2 milliliter decants. And it's like a little mini travel spray. It's like half of a travel spray, okay? Enough for you to test out fully and see if you like it. I will use this, but it's not something that I want a full bottle of. I don't know. I feel like there are so many of these kinds of fragrances out on the market now. Perhaps part of the appeal of this is the nostalgia that people associate with this, because maybe it was one of the earlier fragrances on the market, marketed toward women, that had that sort of like fresh, easygoing, day-to-day, woody, aromatic, slightly citrusy type of smell. But there's so many like this out. I mean, like, even though I don't like it, Lake and Sky, is that what it's called? Sky and Lake, Lake Sky, like that one. I have it somewhere. 1111, those kinds of sort of fresh, clean, day-to-day smells. That's what this is giving. But that said, I mean, it's like one of those staples for people that they love and they swear by. I still don't think this is special enough to bring into my collection. I would give it as a scent though, probably somewhere between like a 6 and a 7 range, and it is easygoing day to day. Now, let's talk about Miss Italica or Italica from Xerjoff. Woo! I'm gonna lose some of y'all on this one because y'all love this fragrance. I sprayed on again. I have it in 2 spots because it's the opening of this fragrance that makes me want to run to the internet and purchase an entire, like if you would purchase a case of wine, I don't think there are cases of fragrance, but I would purchase a case of this just on the opening. It's got almost like an almond liqueur, a very slight cherry nuance for me, but there's something so like butter cookie about this to me. With sugar on top, and so gourmand and delicious on the opening. It's almost like it's a heavenly opening where the edges of the room blur for me. The problem for me becomes in the dry down, or comes in the dry down, which I have over here, and I still get like remnants, like faint hints of that opening, but it's also more cherry and like a very sort of plasticky cherry smell to me. It gets in the cough syrup direction, like candy plus cough syrup, and I don't care for it because of that. But when I first reordered this sample and tried it again, I was like, oh, I had lost my mind not getting Italica. What is wrong with me? I definitely need this. I was not thinking straight. And then it started to settle down and I was like, oh, now I remember why this fragrance doesn't really float my boat. It's because it becomes kind of plasticky, a little cough syrup cherry in the base, and it just gets weird. It gets a little bit off and funky on me. And the opening, I would give a 10+2. Oh my God, it's so good. Like a butter cookie with almond liquor infused. Ooh, so good. But then the dry down for me becomes like a 5 or less. So this is sadly going to remain a no. The bottle is so beautiful. And I can see why people associate it with Christmas because of the lovely nature of it, the like gourmand opening of it, and because of that beautiful red bottle. But this is sadly going to have to remain a no for me. If you know a fragrance that smells like the opening of Italica or Italica all the way through, do drop that in the comments because that's definitely something I want to check out. So the next one is a cult fave. It has a following, a cult following all over social media. When I first tried it, I pretty much disliked it. And so I do kind of sort of like it now. It is Mve Ghost from Byredo. And a lot of people love this, like with a passion. They've been through bottle after bottle after bottle. And am I right that a new version is coming out, either an intense or an elixir? I don't even know. So that got me curious in this again. And I saw this on where? Joma Shop for sale. And so I purchased a travel spray. And you see, I gave it a good old college try here. Like I actually wore this full day. I don't think this smells that great on me still. I don't dislike it anymore though. I can kind of sort of see why people like this. So here's the thing with this and Chloe Nomad. There's another fragrance that I tried to like and I like parts of it, but it ended up not working out for me and I passed it on to a friend who loves it. I mean, she raves about it and thinks it smells amazing on her. And I'm glad it went to a new home. For me, there's something about this fragrance that just feels kind of like dusty and unfinished. And that's the best that I can describe. Some of the notes here, sapodilla, I have no idea what that is. It's some sort of desert plant or flower or something. Ambrette, which can have this sort of like almost a soft, sweet, musky tone with a little bit of like maybe kind of like a faint pepperiness to it. Magnolia, violet, sandalwood in the middle, ambergris, and cedar in the base. So if you are a lover of this fragrance, can you put down some descriptive words for me in the comments? What does it smell like to you? What are you smelling? Some of the words I have heard are fresh and clean and everyday, like easygoing, not offensive. And I don't think this is offensive. I'm missing the hype for it. And that is okay. We can't all love the same things. I'm sure there are things that I adore that those of you that are out in the audience may be like, what? I don't understand her adoration for that fragrance. So this is one where I feel that way, where I'm just like, I don't get it, what everybody's loving. And it makes me kind of sad because, you know, I want to know. I want to know what everybody's picking up in this. And I just don't. So I'm going to pass the rest of this travel spray along to someone so they can enjoy it. Now let's talk about Miss Rude, Queen of Silk from Creed. I gave this fragrance a very hard time in the video where I reviewed it because I said that it slapped me around on the opening. It had a really rude, loud, like Oudie wanting to take over the room. I own the space type of deal. It wanted to be prime #1 diva in the room. And I just let it be. I was like, you got the floor, sis. I'm out. I'm tapping out. And as it dried down, I enjoyed it more. So this is one of those fragrances that I can understand how people love this. And although I still won't be purchasing a bottle of this, I do want to I don't remember what I scored it. If I did score it, I would now sort of rescore it like in the 8 range for the powerhouse that it is. And the fact that it doesn't apologize for who it is and for being bold and proud in the room. It does have this sort of like very evening-esque smell to it. This is not a fragrance that I think many people would feel comfortable wearing just out in broad daylight around other folks. I would think that this would be one of those fragrances that people would want to save for a special occasion or wear on a date or somewhere where they felt comfortable being really bold with their scent. So this is a really expensive fragrance for, what is it, 75 mils? It is $445. Ay, ay, ay. I think this has shown up on discounters too. So if a discount is needed, do not purchase this full price. Go to like Jomas Shop or Fragrance Net or one of those types of places. Notes that stand out to me as I'm looking at the note structure. I'm sniffing myself and thinking, definitely pick up oud. I pick up some deep, almost dark gothic florals. There's patchouli in the fragrance, which I do pick up, as well as some of that myrrh, and there's an incense note as well. So this is a really sort of dark, deep, strong, big personality fragrance, and you need to mean to wear it. So I want to give this a thumbs up because I do think that it is a beautiful fragrance. I don't think I want a bottle of it, but I can see how it's going to smell really fantastic on some folks. So that's Queen of Silk. So I'm going to leave it there for now. That was 8 fragrances, and I want to try maybe another 8 to 10 more in an upcoming video, including Johnny, Vanilla Powder, Sunshine Woman, Cruz del Surtu, Parisian Musk from Matière Premiere, which I haven't even talked about in any videos because I disliked it on first try so much. I want to try it again. Sparkling Joe, Rosendo Mattel number 8, and maybe A from Pantheon Roma, or a few others. We'll see what makes it into that video. Let me know your thoughts. Do you like this kind of video? Is it fun for you? Or are you offended? Are you bothered? Like, Veronica, how dare you? Let me know your thoughts. This is, purely for joy and entertainment and amusement purposes. And if you like any of these, let us know in the comments too. It's all good. All opinions are welcome here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next video.